Hey y'all! Today I want to talk about 3 reasons why you should absolutely separate your funds. Before I get into that, I want to introduce myself to those of you who may not know me. My name is Caritza and I'm the owner of K&K Tax and Accounting Services. We help real estate brokers and other service providers structure their business and save thousands in taxes so that they can focus on closing more deals and scaling their business to 6 figures and beyond. Now, I'm going to start with the story. Back in 2010, I had purchased my 3rd house and rented out my previous house. Life was like really good, or it appeared on the surface that everything was going well. Well, at one point, a few months later, after I had gotten settled, I found myself in my loft just crying my little eyes out because I had gotten to the point where I was low on cash. I mean, very low, almost down to zero. I had gas in my car and I had groceries, but I did not have enough cash to last me to the next payday, which was 2 weeks out. And I was so frustrated with myself because I didn't understand how I got to that point. I was in the floor just crying and praying and pleading with God, like, Lord, just help me get out of this. I don't know how I got in this situation, but I need you to help me out. I did not come from a rich family. I did not have a husband to call on to help me out. I've always been single, a single mother. So it was just one of those things that I had to figure out. So after I got myself together, I got up off the floor. I was like, okay, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be all good. And so a couple of weeks, well, it might not even been a couple of weeks because it seemed like it happened so fast, but a short time after, I received a check in the mail completely out the blue, totally unexpected. It was one of my previous employers from years ago. They restructured their jobs and I received a check for overtime that I had worked, but I did not receive because I was an hourly employee. And I said, because I was a salaried employee. So I said, okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you for this fresh start. I got myself together. I got my stuff organized and bills caught up and paid up. Everything was going good again. But I had to stop and pause and be like, okay, well, everything was good before, but you found yourself in a tight spot. What were you doing then that you can do different now so that you don't end up in this space again? Because I promise God, I will never get back to this space, not on my own. Now, if something happened and it's in his plan and his will, then I'm okay with it. But I couldn't be foolish with money again and get back to that space that I was in. And I realized what I was doing different, or what I wasn't doing was I wasn't telling my money where to go. My money was telling me what we were going to do. The money was coming in. I was comfortable. So if something needed to get done, I was writing a check. If we wanted to go somewhere, do something, we were good. We did it until, things started happening back to back to back. And the money started going out faster than it was coming in. So this time when I realized what I wasn't doing before, I started telling my money where to go. Okay, this amount is going to the bills account. Where my paycheck go, that's the bill account. I'm going to handle my bills before I handle anything else. Then I'm going to put my savings to the side and make sure that I have my savings. That was not to be touched. And then I had a miscellaneous account. And that miscellaneous account was for if the boys had extracurricular activities, if we wanted to go out to eat, go to the movies, whatever the case may be. And when those funds got low, we had to bring it down a notch. We had to slow down until I could build that fund back up. I had a minimum amount in all of my accounts where it said if I got below X amount of dollars, then I'm broke. We can't do nothing. It is what it is. And that was my protection to keep me from getting back in that place where if something happened, I wouldn't be in the floor frustrated because I hadn't figured out or planned my cash appropriately. So that's one reason why you should separate your funds. And that's if you're in a business or not. It's always good to separate your funds so that you can have better control over your money and your money's not controlling you, because the money's going to do whatever it wants to do. Whatever comes up, if it's there, the money's going to go for it. I'm going to just tell you that now. But if you tell your money where it's going to go, whether it's to the bill account, the savings account, the miscellaneous account, an investment account, whatever the case may be, you have control over how the money goes. And if you're looking to start a business, then that is a good practice to get into, which takes me to reason number 2 why you should absolutely separate your funds. Reason number 2 why you should absolutely separate your funds is because the IRS requires it. The IRS does not like the commingling of funds, and that means the mixing of personal and business transactions. The IRS wants to see a clear distinction between your personal expenses and money and your business. You cannot say that you are operating as a business, but you're mixing your personal expenses and transactions with your business, because when you file your business return, if they can't determine whether you are operating as a business or these are personal expenses, they would disallow the deductions that you have taken for your business if you do not have a clear distinction. So that's reason number 2. And reason number 3, which I think a lot of business owners can relate to at this point, is you need to separate your funds and make sure that you have your reports and documentation and everything in order. If you got the SBA PPP loan or the EIDL, those loans require you to have certain documentation, especially if you're going to get the loan forgiven. You have to apply to have the loan forgiven. It's not automatic. And when you apply, you're going to have to provide the documentation proving that you spent those funds on the things that the loan requirements outline in those documents when you sign, stating that this was a business loan and you would use it for these specific expenses. Those expenses primarily consist of your mortgage, lease, or the interest on the mortgage, utilities, and operations for the business. And the same with the EIDL. With the EIDL, that loan is not going to be forgiven, but if you are audited, which they very well can do, they can request documentation to prove that you use those funds for business expenses. So those are the 3 reasons that I wanted to share with you today why it is important for you to separate your funds. And when I was in my loft back at that time, I realized, hindsight is 2020, because I realized then that it was preparing me for everything that I'm doing today. It is very important, if you are running a business, to make sure that you have your personal and your business transactions separated. I hope that was helpful today. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more information. Thank you.